there has been a very successful memorial service that has been held for George Floyd. 4 days ago, there was a protest, and then there was a petition that has been submitted to the American Embassy, which the American Embassy also, of course, honored the invitation to attend the memorial service. There has been a lot of questions on social media. There has been a debate among Ghanaians that is this really the priority to fight for justice in memory of someone who is not a Ghanaian?
I'm very thankful for the country of Ghana, for the president of Ghana, to facilitate this type of event. I think it's extremely important that Africans throughout the world know that they're supported here in Africa. And so for us to have the event like this in Ghana, to me, is extremely important.
They were here last year. African American brothers were here. They responded to the call of the president. And so when they are mourning, we can't just enjoy, and when it's time to mourn, that we sit back. No, we have to arise because they are part of us. They are our heartbeat, and we need them to know that we love them.
Well, I think this was a wonderful program to honor George Floyd. I mean, me being African American and now living in Ghana, it was very important for us to show that Ghanaians and Black Americans and African Americans, that we are all one and we all stand together. George Floyd is not the first African American to be brutalized and killed by the police, but he was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I'm glad that we're coming together out here to honor him and what our people are going through back in America.
Is we are one, regardless of where we're from. If you're a Black person, you are an African, and that's the message we want people to understand, and that unity of us. And again, I want to say thank you to the president and to the people of this country. Ghana is the most Pan-Africanist country on the continent, and the continent looks to Ghana to lead this process.
The program, I think, speaks to a larger vision, which is really to acknowledge the death of George Floyd, and to also acknowledge not just his death, but what his death represents, which is the inhumanity that's being experienced by people of color in the United States. So we're here to focus on his memory, but also to make people aware of what is going on in the U.S. and to let his family know that we support them in their loss.
I think it's a good program. I think it's a good show of solidarity for Ghana to do a memorial for George Floyd. I think it's necessary to show the world that Africans are standing together for Black people all over the world. And I think it's positive. I think it's a good step. And I think some of the things that we need to continue to do is to educate ourselves about white supremacy and about systematic oppression in America for Black people. Because it doesn't matter if you're from Ghana, Congo, Senegal, or Ivory Coast, or Sierra Leone. But if you're walking in the streets of America, you're a Black man, and you'll be treated as such. And if people aren't clear how Black men and women are treated, you saw that with a knee in the neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So, unfortunately, it took this to happen. It took a traumatic experience of us watching a man die on TV before the whole world got upset. But racism isn't new. These things aren't new. They're very, very old. They're as old as America. In fact, they're ingrained in the fabric of America. It's just that it's being televised and shown around the world, and we can see it in its cruel and gruesome nature live up close in 4K color vision. We see African people dying.
And still in 2020, we have teenagers and young people marching throughout the streets of America saying Black Lives Matter. Well, Black lives have always mattered. So now it is time for us to stand up and say enough is enough. It's not about slogans. It's not about marching. It's not about demonstrations. It's about concrete action that we must take as a people, and that's collectively. So we do celebrate some of those of white ancestry, those white Americans who have taken to the streets and have demonstrated, to have also said enough is enough, because it doesn't only take Africans. We've stood alone. We've cried alone. We've been at our funerals alone. But it's important that the world stands up and stands by so we know who our friends are, because God will change this dynamic. And we will remember who our friends are when the Almighty God, the true supreme judge of the universe, brings about his judgment on those who mistreated his children.
Come someday. Everyone please sing. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday.
For DNT News, Tofik, Abdul, Nasir.